Good evening, everybody. This is Dr. Rao Kulusu coming on to you on a Saturday evening. Uh, I, I have a house in Clubhouse now. They have regular rooms and also uh, house. My house name is Docs and Burnout. I named it because I wanted to address this topic of burnout, which I've been working all along, all the time. Even though it meant only docs and burnout, it involves all the healthcare workers, nurses, pharmaceuticals, and other people, and also IT professionals and company leaders, corporate people. Everybody's going through the burnout now. So this is more like a house for the burnout. And I usually agree to do the Saturday evening hours, 7 o'clock. And as a part of that, I opened in Wisdom and other channels also, so that my friends can participate and see what this is all about. Okay. Good evening. This is Saturday evening, January 28th, 2023. My name is Dr. Rao Kolusu. I am a practitioner of internal medicine and had been in this country since 1982. Had been in running my own clinics and worked in hospitals and involved in hospital policy. And I got to see a lot of burnout by the doctors who are my colleagues and who needed some kind of guidance about how to get out of those stressful situations. My solution was more of showing people how to develop their own inner resilience. It's not like just not able to um, look at things and then forget about things. That's not my style. My style was to face the problem and see what is needed, and then go about developing that kind of training that will give you internal resilience. Okay. Um, I don't know, many people knew that many doctors are really taking this serious enough. Some of them are committing suicide, close to 500 a year, something like that. That really moved me. That really made me bring up this ancient wisdom, which has helped me personally. I was never burnt out, but I was stressed in 1983 when I first went into the residency of geriatric medicine in Chicago. And they made me after 1 year as a chief resident, and that was way, way um, stress for me because I was new to the country, new to the culture, and also really don't know much about management. But then they found something in me, and then they made me chief president, which was like a leadership position with many of the other doctors are like older than me. So I was only 27 at the time, and most of them are older, but then they don't have the um, means, I think, for the leadership, and that's why they brought me. Um, all the friends who were very nice to me up until that point really turned against me because they couldn't tolerate that a younger guy has got this leadership position. But then I had to swim through that role and learn things. And then I went and studied what's called healing the healer by one doctor who was trained in Massachusetts Boston Hospital, and he was burned out, and then he took 2 years of Sabbath and went to his in-laws home in Bulgaria, I think, and he stayed there for 2 years, and then he came up with this beautiful book, which helped me, which helped a lot of doctors, because he was talking about how do we as healers um, heal ourselves first and then go and really provide care for the patients, right? I think this that was minor compared to what is happening now. Now doctors are really burning out and really having problems with their own lives and marriages and children and lots of things like that. So I wanted to take this serious because this is like a important for the nation, because we are losing a lot of doctors. We are having probably setting ourselves for a national crisis down the line, and probably it is going to be a national emergency because most of these caregivers are going to be not functioning optimally. Even though they are in the profession, they're not functioning at their optimum level. That's why I was involved in the human enhancement through ancient wisdom, right? They really showed how to maintain our body, mind, and the spirit in a very nice way. And so that helped me. So I always tell people I'm 68 now. I just celebrated my birthday on January 18th, 10 days ago. But then I don't use any medications because I don't need to. It's not that I'm against the medication. I use them for my patients in a meaningful way, and I also cut down the unnecessary medication. That's my penchant. But then if you can repair your body, can keep your body in a very healthy state, in a homeostasis, why do you have to take all the medications and then pollute your body? That's kind of thing. I do yoga, I do breathing exercises, I keep my mind calm, and also I eat vegetarian. I don't never smoked, never had to use drugs, but I'm kind of more involved with uh, natural things, all natural things, fruit juices, vegetable salads, nuts, and then trying to help other people by coming on these apps and all that. So there are so many pleasures you can have that are very healthy for us, that will maintain our natural rhythms in our body and mind. That's what I teach my students who come to me on the wellness club in the morning, in the evening. So what we do is we get up in the morning, and usually in the morning or in the evening, some people will come, right? What I want them to do 1 hour was just to use that 1 hour to exercise in awareness. Don't think of anything else in that hour. Work with me, stretch and breathe deeply, and also do some meditation, all that, to prepare ourselves to be in the present. And then carry on that like a perfume all through the day. And come back to that uh, day every 1 hour, 1 minute. Hi, Prasad, welcome. Hello, sir. Yeah, I'm describing to the other channels what this channel is about. This is about the docs and burnout. But then, even though it was said docs, but all the healthcare workers and all the IT people and anybody who is dealing with a lot of information, and the modern lifestyle is producing the stress. And that's why I was describing them what why I got into it. What was the experience in 1983 when I was chief resident? I was exposed to a lot of stress, and then I read this book, Healing the Healer, that started it. And then I was in the yoga and other ancient systems, which has really showed me how to enhance a human being, either physical, mental, all of them together, right? And then bring us back to homeostasis of natural rhythms. That is something we are sacrificing in modern life. So, Prasad, you want to say something? Yeah. No, no, please go. Yeah. So I was describing the program to them. In my wellness club, what I do in the morning or in the evening is we start with being here and now, and do the exercises of asanas, at the same time deep breathing, and also keep the mind uh, in meditative mode. By the time you are done, you come out in presence of mind, and then you are energized, and you're not reacting that quickly because you use the deep breathing to settle that sympathetic overload and be in that parasympathetic stimulation, and then carry that to the work, and where you will be in the present, non-reactive but responsive, and also take a minute break every hour so that you can come back to the presence, you can come back to the deep breathing and all that. So That is about inner resilience that we want to focus in the morning, just right after you get up. The first 1 hour is very important for the nervous system. So these kind of stretches, deep breathing, and being in the present, they really help you to be in that non reactive, resilient mode of yours. That's what I am teaching people. And then there are customized things that I do according to the person's need. But otherwise, generally, this is the focus. The circumstances outside may be very, very hard and difficult for us. But what we do is we kind of develop our resiliency so that our immunity and everything is good inside. So you can face the difficulties of the life. That's theory. That is what we practice. So what do you think, Prasad, about that?
Yeah, this is really a great thing. Actually, innovating ourselves in the modern life,
Yeah,
moving back to roots again, decompressing ourselves
yeah,
from the modern life stresses, etc.
yeah,
Yeah, this is very exciting thing, and
yeah,
certainly we are interested to learn more from you on these things.
yeah,
Everybody, for
yeah,
that matter, irrespective of where they are working, how they are working,
yeah,
they're all going through a lot of burnouts.
yeah,
Even the millennials, I would say, um, generation as well, have this kind of issues. So
yeah,
timing is right, and everybody needs to
yeah.
learn
I
about
started
how we
this
can
in
decompress. Yeah.
I started this in 1985, and it never used to be coming down. It is increasing the need of this kind of programs. In the hospitals, in the clinics, in the other places where I go and lecture. Everybody talks about, oh, we need this because we are so stressed out, burnt out, and we have so many problems sleeping, so many problems getting energy. We don't have any joy in our work, and we don't feel like working anymore. All these things I hear all the time. But what I discovered was, if you can stay calm inside, and if you really have some habits where you are respecting your body cycles, that is the diurnal rhythm we call about. I think that is a big casualty of this modern life, of staying late at night, not really giving the importance to the sleep, not eating properly. Also, they're eating for the taste, but they're not eating for the nutritional value, and also according to the GI cycle. you know I know a lot of my Indian friends, they give a party. The party starts at 11 or 12 o'clock at night. you know and you eat very late and you sleep and you get up in the morning, your whole cycle will be disturbed. So you're supposed to eat very early in the night, and then give 2 or 3 hours before you sleep for the system to settle down, and then you sleep. Then the whole thing will work to digest and get all our waste, and then we can get the waste out in the morning. Then you have a good appetite, you have good breakfast and go. That is the normal cycle, and that is kind of put it aside by many people because they are, the work demands or their social demands and all the making them to fall away from those routines. So what I observed was the ancients were very pertinent about this, maintaining the cycles. They did not eat noon or six. That they ate because they are hungry. They worked up the appetite and then they ate, and then they are responding to the body needs and body cycles, listening to the body. Whereas we, with our thinking, we kind of want to do our way, but the body cycle is different. That's a very difficult thing for people to, once they lose it, to come back to. Because in your children, if you are sustaining it, later on you maintain it, is very easy. You may do that as a child because your parents are disciplined, your parents want you to get up in the morning, do things. But then later on, if you go to a college, if you go to a dormitory, there they are not having these rules, and you got to be on your own. And then you just let it go according to your society, according to your entertainment circle and all that. And then people fall out of that cycle, and then unless they're training for the sport or a music program, anything like that, most of the people are falling out. And then this pleasure circle, seeking drugs or alcohol or smoking, all these external circumstances, they are not good for at all. But then once they are in the peers, that's the biggest pressure kids have. And then they smoke, they take alcohol, they take drink. All these things are against our natural cycle. See, when I mention this, people think I'm retrogressing. No, being natural is something we can do for ourselves to be healthy. So it's a smart thing actually to do that. Listen to the body is very, very important. But then when the people come to me, they're already beyond that habit of natural rhythms, right? So I got to bring them back to their own routines slowly, and they have to put in some time too, because I can talk to them, I can enlighten them, and all that. They sometimes they know about it, but then body learns slowly, mind also learns slowly. So you got to train it. It's not just understanding this particular thing and then forget about it. A lot of people make new year resolutions, right? But then they fall off of them because the training that body had in the other way, like a bad habits for so long, you cannot change them just by your intellect is determined. What you need to do is you need to do this habit of whatever you want resolution. For example, you want to run, you want to maybe 10 15 miles something, but you cannot do it all of a sudden. You got to start very low, like a 1 mile or 2 mile in the beginning, and then let the body get used to it, and then go to the bigger goal. So what it is, make small goals, achieve them, and then increase the goal. That is training. Don't strain. Straining is we're putting 5 10 miles one time, and then forget about next week. No, daily do something smaller and then increment your goal. That is the training that I talk about, not the straining the body. There is an example in ancient wisdom is about this elephant and the Mahot. Mahot is the one who sits on top of the elephant and then guides it to go in the city this way, that way, and all. And he obeys it. How does he do? He's so strong, the elephant, right? Mahot is nothing. But then the elephant listens to the Mahot. How does he do? Because of the training. He trains from the baby how it should do. So it is used to that. You don't have to tie the rope. You will just put it around something and then it knows that it is tied and it will stay there. But it has a lot of strength, right? That's how our body has more strength than our intellect. Also our mind also like that too. So just understanding something and then being inspired by it for a day is not going to allow you to get into this automatic training where you can enjoy the training. We don't feel like it's a punishment. A lot of people cannot get up in the morning because they feel like it's a punishment. I would like to sleep more. That's a good time and all that. But once you determine, I need to get into this so that I can maintain my health and maintain my energy and maintain my joy in life, you need to be healthy. Okay. So then becomes 14 days. If you can do a habit, then it becomes automatic. What do you say about that, Prasad? Isn't it true for the training?
Yeah, it is true. I agree with you. But I have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Given the situation that the world is in today, you touched upon nutrition values of the food, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, the world is running on the in the calorie.
Yeah.
That's one thing. And the other question, to save your time, is we're talking about two groups of people per se. One, I'm trying to generalize here. Maybe I might be using unprofessional words here, but please excuse me if I'm going on that route. Day people and night people kind of analogies, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
People think that they cannot,
Yeah.
do anything in the daytime, but they want to wake up late and stay up late kind of thing, or for that matter, in night. On the contrary, people like me who are early birds, and and stay very late. So how do we come out of these
Yeah,
things? What is the best practice?
yeah.
Um,
You say this
and yeah,
first question about the processed food, that is a menace. You know, most of the people who are going on a diet and who are following it, they are fine. But then lots of times it is the social, it's the family conditioning. Like, my grandma makes a nice, some rice thing, for example, and that is that you gain the taste because your mom also makes it and your mom's cooking is all like that. So a lot of people get conditioned at home, and then if they are eating outside and the family taking to the same McDonald's, same things, you will be conditioned to that kind of food. And then it's not a joke anymore, because this processed food is the cause of our chronic diseases. A lot of morbidity, a lot of expense, a lot of quality time of the patient also goes into that. So that's why we are pretty serious about avoid the processed food, and if possible grow the food and then eat the food by preparing at home. That's a strong recommendation. Otherwise, you can talk to the chefs and then make sure they are making good food. You are being knowledgeable, know about what kind of foods you are eating, then you kind of make sure that you are making or somebody else making for you that way. So that requires awareness, that requires education, that requires vigilance, not to slip into these things, and also identifying the food habits. So I always say people, are you eating to live, or are you living to eat? So that's an important philosophical thing that you want to know about yourself. And then you want to, it's not either one is correct and the rest of it is wrong. No, but you will know, I eat to live because I want to do something. But then I don't live to eat only. That is the only pressure that I have. Okay, because I eat so that I can do some things in my life. I can enjoy. But you can enjoy a lot of foods. But if you can choose nutritious food, then you are better off. So a lot of vigilance is needed. A lot of awareness of how we acquire these habits is needed. Now, the second question about the body clock, it is true though. Some people are morning people, some people are in the evening people. Actually, if you see the corporations, they are actually trying to take the body clock of the employee and give them the same shifts. For example, in the hospitals, some of the nurses, they are not daytime people, so they get the nighttime shifts and then they go and take rest at nighttime, and that's fine with them. But then some people are completely morning people, like I am. If I do night times 3 or 4, that will affect me. That's why I always take the daytime shifts. And if you want to determine your body clock, all you have to do is take temperature every 1 hour and then see how that is. If it is going high, if it's going low, you can figure out whether you are a nighttime person or a daytime person. But it is better to respond to your metabolic need. If you are a morning person, to do work mostly in the morning. That's what I do. I sometimes get up 3:30 to 4 o'clock and all that. I do the spiritual things, but then by 7 o'clock, it's already midday for me. I have learned so many things. I have this other principle too. Um, Delayed gratification. That means you are going to identify what is important for me to do today. Let them do as much as possible before I allow gratification for me in other forms of entertainment or reading book or talking to people or taking a cup of tea, anything like that. That is delayed, and the important thing is at least initiated and let loose, let them go. That's a good practice to be very productive. So by the 9 o'clock, I'm already like I'm the mid afternoon. So, but that's like a soldiers are like that, and yogis are like that. People with very high level of discipline can do that. But then once you start it, you will always be led into that kind of routine, that kind of discipline. But then this creature comforts come in that way. People want to first relax, have a chat with a friend, maybe by the water cooler, or in the cafeteria, and then once you have done that, then they will come and then do the work. Instead of that, go and see what is most important for you, either in the office or in the hospital, wherever you're working, or at home, and then first pay attention to them, give all attention to that, and then as a reward do the something gratifying thing that will help you feel like, oh, I can relax now and have that. That kind of thing is very, very well. But now with this IT jobs wanting 24 hours a day, they will be expecting these people to do. So that has become very tough for them. But within the constraints that you have, you can definitely develop a good eating habit and also good exercise and some time to rest and sleep, and then also to empty your mind. These are the four pillars I always talk about. If you can do those, that will be very good. So that body clock is very real, Prasad. So identifying how we are, our metabolism is, and going accordingly is also important. Natural thing, we should be doing that. Then we'll be in high gear in our natural body clock rather than we are working against this. There's another thing too. Once you understand your body clock and you respond to its needs that way, then slowly you can also work on the jet lag and other things. See, so if when you travel, you don't lose energy. When you really do multiple nights work, you can also employ this tactic. And like me, I had to work before. Night calls were very tough on my body. But once I understood how to rest, how to sleep according to the yoga and all that, then I kind of brought them into my life, applied them, right? So wherever I am, I follow the same routine before sleep and after sleep. That makes my sleep much deeper, much shorter too. Before, I had to sleep 6 to 8 hours before I got the energy. But now, 2 hours, 3 hours, and I'm fine. So there are certain things you have to do before sleep, like you want to empty your mind. There are ways to do that actively, and then it becomes as the time goes away, from 1 hour to 30 minutes to 15 minutes, that all that you need. Nowadays I need 5 minutes just to empty everything and then go to sleep. So that's about movement to movement living. If you have it, then you can empty the mind very quickly. Otherwise, you have a lot of brain fog, and then you sleep on it, and then you will have less of the deep sleep, more of a dreams. All those things are your mind is trying to put itself to order. So listen to the body clock in terms of our functions of the body: eating, excretion, and this rest and sleep. These are important things. And also understand what is the mechanism of thought we are having. How are we allowing thought to become a problem for you rather than an asset for us? Okay, that's a big topic, but I talked about these things a lot of times. But generally, what Prasad was saying about the processed food, definitely, we all know, especially the people who are worried about the planet. We want to renew the topsoil. We want to renew the organic content of the soil. We want to renew the nutritious value of the foods and all that. So the more attention we pay, the more it's good for our bodies and also for our planet. So that we can take up as an issue and talk in this Saturday evening talks. This is about burnout. How is the burnout is costing us in the modern life, and how can we avoid it? Either modern ways or ancient ways are fine, whatever suits for you. I go for the ancient ways mainly because they are natural. They don't involve any of the chemicals, any of the fertilizers, any of the antibiotics, any of the drugs and all that. And also they involve where you do the stretching or exercise, or if you're doing deep breathing, actually your energy goes up. So that's what I feel. I have AEIOU at the end of my practice in the morning. these five things should happen to all of us. One is, A is alert. I became more alert. I'm not groggy anymore. Okay. And that's simple, right? And alert and aware. Okay. E is my energy increased because of this exercise? Whatever it could. It doesn't have to be yoga, but what you can walk on the treadmill or any of those things, right? Okay. Energy is increased. I is, did I get insight into how my body is behaving, how my thinking is behaving, how my response to all these things. So that inside, every day you gain some wisdom of out of your own observation of your own body and mind. And that's something people tell me, that their back is better, or they have sleeping better, or they're interacting with their colleagues and siblings or whatever, they have better. Okay? A E I O is, I teach people about how to heal with the primordial sound. In the case, uttering ah, ma, which is a compilation of the om, you know, that is like a rhythm of the universe. Okay, people took it religious, which is fine, they can do that. But then, apart from that, this is the deeper science in that. Okay, that is what you do. Uttering out some letters, some symbols, and all that is the sound, the rhythm from the sound. It could be anything, each religion can have their own way, right? And then you can do that because you understand the science behind it, how those and other sounds have this rhythmic healing powers. Okay. And then last one is, how are you really connected to the universal energy? AEIOU, right? Universal energy. And how is that you can really help yourself, that kind of thing. All those things I talk about and I execute them. I want them to validate for themselves. Am I doing this or not? That kind of thing. Okay. So how does that sound, Prasad? There's
Yeah,
AEIOU.
great suggestions. Yeah, these are all very important to learn and practice.
Yeah.
Out of these sessions, I am getting a doubt on one thing that we go through, especially in the work time. We all have targets. Sometimes
Yeah.
a day go easy. Sometimes we get a lot of work. Suddenly it pops up on our radar. Maybe boss tells us it's different than the routine that we go through every day.
Yeah.
So it induces a lot of stress also. Sometimes we can cope up with that thing, manage very efficiently.
Yeah.
Sometimes it seems to be very overwhelming and we cannot escape out of that loop system. So
Yeah.
how do we prevent to accumulate such things so that we wouldn't get into
Yeah.
a situation like burnout?
Yeah. You see, one of the things is people don't sit down and reflect on what is that their purpose in life. What is it that's most important for them? What are the things that you want to pursue? The meaningful versus really going along with whatever comes along. Okay. There is an ancient version. There is a modern version. I will tell you. I will tell you the modern version first. How this can be happen. Stephen Covey, who wrote this book of Seven Habits of Most Effective People. He wrote in the book there was a graph. In the graph there's a x-axis, y-axis, right? And he divides it to what is most important and least important, and then the other way is what is the most urgent and non-urgent. If you are in the non-urgent, most important quadrant, that's the second quadrant, I think. That means you have priorities in life, like your career, like your relationships, like your whatever important work you are doing, all that, and then you will only focus on those. Otherwise, if you are responding to every little thing, you are in crisis mode. That's a lot of people do. So sitting down and chalking out what is most important for me, that I want to do leisurely, non-urgently. Okay. And then if something happens in life, like an accident, like a disease, like we can respond. But generally taking charge of the life and saying, okay, this is important for me, these are my goals. So like you, Prasad, you have ecology, the planet health is most important for you, and you are directing all your energy towards that, and then you have responsibility of the kids and the wife or whatever that comes with the family, and they are very important for you probably. So, well, if you can see, I am doing the most thing and letting some things go by without having this fear of missing out. You don't have to experience everything, the small pleasures and all that, right? So if you can do that way, then you will be going toward purposeful, proactive life that is really giving you within the limitations, within the resources that you have, you are directing them towards what is meaningful to you. This is the modern version. Ancient version they have, in the modern also they have got a positive psychology based purposeful living. That's why. But if you take ancient version, they have got dharma, the kama, moksha, those things, right? They said, okay, you have desires, legitimate within the family, or out of whatever desires you have, you can do them if you are after the pleasure. And so much that mom said about this too. He said, if you stay into pleasure for a longer time, there won't be pleasure anymore. That is true. You can have so much of pleasure, but after that, it doesn't seem much. So that has a limit, right? Like that, Artha is accumulation of things, accumulation of money, accumulation of knowledge, accumulation of things, and all that. You can do so much, but this has a limitation too at the end of it. But you can have the pleasures, you can have the accumulations within righteous societal means. That is the dharma. Do it in a proper way. Don't do it just like using some corrupt way or using some not good way for other people. It will hurt. So, but these are all, they peter out after a while. So you want to really find out what is liberty in life. What is the thing that I want to um, have something to live by? I know something that there are so many philosophies about that. So it depends upon where your awareness is, what kind of things are going in your mind, what do you want to know about, what are you addicted to, not addicted to, all those things come. But eventually, it is your mind that you want to have in your corner. You don't have unconditional chatter. You don't have compulsive thought that is making you miserable. Okay. That is really increased by the modern living, modern information overload, thinking just because I have read so many books, I'm wise. Just because I have written so many programs, I am wise. Just because I know so many facts of life, I am wise. That's not at all. A real wise person doesn't have to know a lot, this knowledge. What he has to have is know the limitation of this so called thought built structures. And then you can use them, but you don't have to dilute them that they are going to liberate you from this mind structure. Okay. And that is the ancients way of looking inward, touching that, and then going beyond that mind. Buddha, the name of Buddha is what? Buddha is somebody who transcended the mind. Okay. Everybody has a Buddhahood in them. But then if you are occupied by so much of thought that's going outward, then you don't know what is beyond thought. So that's why turn inward and investigate. Okay. Do they make sense, Prasad?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm very grateful for you bringing up that four quadrant
Yeah.
analogy so that we can put our priorities at
Yeah.
each quarter and
Yeah.
deal with them as they evolve.
Yeah.
That's one
Yeah.
great.
Stephen Covey is he say first chapter actually first things first.
Yeah.
But in that paragraph, in that graph that he has written, you can take your activities and put them, and then you will know what are the important things for you, but that's not urgent, that you want to do on a daily basis. And then slow and steady these things, once you have a routine, once you have a discipline in that way, according to the purposes you have in life, I think you will be much more happier.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm sure that these things would come out of practice, practice, practice
Yeah.
until we get to a moderate level, and then
Yeah.
evolve out of all these things. Sometimes feelings also hurt
Yeah.
and put us under tremendous pressure and causes early burnout, I think.
Yeah,
So,
that's a feeling's a very important thing, because people look for some romantic involvement or some dependent thing on all those, right? Uh, if you can be really understand what is to be loving from inside, where you give without any expectation, that's a very nourishing thing. But most of the people are pursuing love from somebody else rather than cultivating within and giving it. And that puts a lot of things into shape. It's a very difficult thing, I'm sure. But then, how are you not aware of yourself? How are you self knowledge about yourself? Those things are kind of, even when I say turn inward, they think it's a something they is not able to understand. But that is the need of this information age. Otherwise, you are going to use your intellect too much to go outward to do the stuff that it may not be complete at the end of life, or may not give you complete fulfillment. So this inward turning is something, I think this new technologies, AI technologies coming in, they're going to liberate us from all the mundane activities, even learning and all those facts also. But what are you going to do with your freed mind? This was a question 20 years ago was brought in. I was in discussions with the Krishnamurti's group, right? The question Krishnamurti asked was, when the computer is able to do everything, what are you going to do with your mind? Will you make it a devil's workshop, or will you turn inward and find out who you are, and thereby live in that Satchidananda ancients called? That means your truth, your conscious truth and consciousness, and your blissful nature. Once you discover that, then you won't have loneliness, you won't have like this lack of purpose, you don't have you will live life uh, with real enthusiasm and joy, not like this is a burden. It doesn't matter how the external circumstances are, because the circumstances are there, you're going to flower more. So using the suffering that comes your way, and not being reactive, or using all the good things that happen to you, not react. That's called sthita pragnata, stabilized in wisdom. That comes by turning it, not by outward. Make sense, Prasad?
yeah, wonderful example. Actually, I follow JK teachings also. It turns anybody inside rather than working all the
Yeah.
time outside from outside things.
Yeah.
So I guess we need to point out this kind of teachings through JK to several people.
Oh yeah, I always present them. It's not teachings though. See, yeah, yeah. JK also, he's. I don't want people to take it as teachings. He himself frowns upon that. What it is it's a pointing out the truth of matter and inviting you to go and investigate.
Yeah.
Don't follow, but then think about them, take them, and then really examine and all of that. So I think I have seen a lot of people with JK, they follow 30, 40 years, but they don't have a clue of what he's talking about. But if you can investigate the truth that he's pointing out, you yourself will come to several conclusions. you know so Krishnamurti is not understood in many quarters, and he himself was very disappointed at the end of the life. See, sir, I talked about 60 years. I went around the world except the Iron Curtain, but I don't see anybody really adopting this and changing it. It is an intellectual discussion, something that they want to get this feeling, oh, I am so good, I can understand. That's not it at all. It has to be understood and seen in the mirror of life. That means, Prasad, suppose you go into the life and you have, interacted with somebody, there is a reaction within you and other person and the whole situation and all. That will reveal to you what you are, and you got to see that in that mirror of relationship. And then just by seeing it, it changes. For example, I'll do a crude example. For example, somebody is getting hurt all the time, right? And but he is not knowing. He goes to the office, they make fun of him, he gets hurt. He goes some other social party, they don't respond to him, he's not recognized, so he feels like, oh, I was not given importance. He gets hurt. So this getting hurt goes on, which is not needed at all. Then he sees that he's doing it, and he says, "What is this? Why should I care whether they respect me or not? I can go by more. Like me, I don't care. I come to everybody's room. When I open the room, very and talk. I don't know why, but then they are there, but they don't come. But that's up their business. So I don't get take it like they are trying to attack my ego. None of that. That whatever they want, they can do. People listen to this, what I talk about later, and then they send me direct messages. That is their truth. So I know people listen. But what I'm saying is, I don't get hurt by that. You see, I just say, okay, this is my duty. I want to share what I want to share, and that's enough and go. This is seeing ourselves in the mirror of relationship, and then seeing how we are inside. And that's how you really know about yourself. And then just by knowing about it, they will follow. One of my students at the wellness club, she talked about this anger that she was getting, right? Then I told her, just to observe it, see what it is when it comes. And she began to observe, and she noticed the anger going down. That's exactly what happens once you use the relationship as a mirror. So Krishnamurti and other people also, they have pointed out these universal truths. We got to take it like that pointing out is really showing us, look at that. But then once you listen to that truth, first listen, then reflect on it, think about it. And once you know this is the truth, because you have a lot of doubts, you have your own experience, you have your own conclusions, right? So you should, and then you should convince your own intellect, your own questioning thing that this is true. But then once you found that is the truth by your investigation, then make sure that is applied in life.
Yeah, yeah, that reminds me of one thing. Is this instant um, attitudes? Whatever I do, I need an instant benefit or instant result kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is also leading us to big burnout
Yeah.
than usual.
Yeah.
Given,
Yeah, it is true. Because people don't really need all these things that they built a habit of. And then, suppose in the social media, I want people to, they want to say, oh, you are doing so good, you are amazing, you are that, this, and all. And what it does is it kind of gives you a little bit of dopamine and pleasure and all that. But then you get used to that, and then you don't realize that you are forming a habit where everybody who is there, you expecting them without realizing that they say something pleasant, something nice, something to boost my ego. But then That's a behavior you got to watch yourself and not to allow it to go like that. But then when somebody is not doing that, then the opposite thing happens, you know. So it's a kind of internal realization of what is that I want, what is it that why I'm crazy. So this is different from the meditation. In the meditation, you sit down and calm your agitated thought, right? But then it will come back again, right? In self inquiry, you see this need for the egoic, you know, elevation happening, and then you are out of it. Then you are not in the situation where people are saying some things. Suppose they say criticism of something, some work and all that without personal. Yeah, you got to look at it and say, okay, I messed up. I have reacted like this, whatever. Then you have to learn. Next time you will be more careful. But most of the people, they just write all the emotional things and without really examining them. So I tell them, do this reflection on your reactions on a daily basis. In the evening, before you go to sleep, retrace all the things happened that day, starting 8 o'clock. Suppose you're going to sleep at 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, what happened in the house, 8 o'clock, what happened, 6 o'clock, dinner, what happened, and the evening hours, what happened, like that. You know, whatever structure of day you have, at least take one some time to reflect on your own reactions. Don't blame anybody else. Don't you don't have to worry about their reactions. First, deal with your reactions, and if they are trivial, drop them. Yeah, make a big deal out of something really not important. It comes with habit. Then all the trivialities are dropped. That's a heavy burden gone. And then, if they are important, you need to remember. You need to take action tomorrow, and you need to go somebody to talk to them about it, your teachers, your gurus, or whatever book you want to. You want to write them down, but at the same time take them out of the mind for the night. I don't think many people do that. You know, if you can empty like that and sleep on a rather clear mind, you sleep better. So this thing I called review of your reactions. The burnout people, they react very quickly and very vehemently, very violently on their own. And then that feeling becomes like I'm no good. Nobody appreciates me. Nobody giving validation. That's what is happening to the doctor. They are there to take care of the patient, but there are so many middle managers, middle people come in the hospitals. So it's not like doctors are left alone to do their job. There are so many other people come and they want to do everything according to algorithm that makes money for the hospital, not improve the patient care. That's really tragic thing that's going on. Is everything is driven by the revenue. So they will say, well, care for the patient, but ultimately that's what it is. A doctor's life, if you go, he will do one condition and then he will put there, and the other person, there is a person that is going through, they put her for that. She will come and say, oh, this diagnosis will not pay this much, so you got to add this one, just because money will come more. That is a heavy burden on them. Then if they don't do it, then these people go to the administration. Administration will come and question them. Then these people feel like we are being manipulated, we are being really, so they suffer a lot of strife within because of these practices of revenue based medical care. And here if we, and also they have people coming and not respecting him, so his ego gets hurt because we make doctors with ego. In the education residency that happens. So and the person goes that he has a big ego, and somebody says a word or sees a glance, he has a problem. Then he will say, oh, my ego is hurt, and then he really actually physically mentally suffers. In the other field also the same thing, you know. So it is a kind of things that we give paramount importance. And also We don't have to see the psychologist, we don't have to see the psychiatrist and all that. Just to pay attention to what is happening within you. So Krishnamurti said, pay attention to what is happening outside of you and inside of you. Each person can question themselves. Am I paying attention like that, or am I justifying? I don't need to look at it. I'm perfect. So these reactions go on accumulating. There's another problem. The more you allow these reactions, the more they get implanted in your brain in the neuronal path. They're called samskaras in yoga, but rightly we have the neuroplasticity. From that, we know the more we think of positive, the more positive pathways happen in your cognitive brain. The more you think of negative, the more negativity will form, and they come pretty quickly. Suppose you allow to be hurt by somebody's comment all the time, and that gets worse and worse or worse. And then somebody says, or don't even say it, something implied, you can take it like that and get hurt. Okay, people may push them aside and go, but then they don't realize them later on when they are in the older age, 60s, 70s. These things will come back to haunt them. They cannot stop them.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why people with 70s, 80 years of dementia. I studied a lot on the dementia, and I am pretty lucky to have the insights of the yogis, why they keep their mind young, why they keep it very blissful. You see, that's a real blessing, I think.
Yeah, that's a great
Yeah,
suggestion actually. While you are describing this, I was thinking about agitations that
yeah,
we do within ourselves at the same time to the external
yeah,
external forces. Say, for example, with our colleagues, maybe I shouldn't be using forces, external interactions rather, um, with our bosses, etc. We're kind of now getting to some sort of highly opinionated way that,
yeah,
oh, he is always like that, he says something
yeah.
nonsense kind of thing, which we won't respect, not respect sort of thing. So,
Yeah.
i- could we create a system within ourselves so that
It
we
is
would
there.
receive everything
No, it is
in
there,
an
but we forgot
unconditional
about it.
way?
Yeah, Prasad, it
Like
is.
we often hear in here in a relationship like unconditional
Yeah.
love, so on and so forth kind of things.
No, it was there. Ancients have taken a massive leap in that they have come to the conclusion that we are all one. Ekam Sat. We are all one, only one energy. The entire human tribe is one family. So what is happening is nobody is living that truth every day. That's why we have so many divisions in the terms of our different countries and nationalities, different faiths, different religions, and all. See, if it were they're just following something and they're not having division or conflict with other countries, that would be okay. But then they forgot this fundamental fact that we are all one, you know. But that comes down to your regular everyday reactions too. Suppose I consider you not separate, you are my brother, and then you are my neighbor, and you and me are really actually in one energy. You are me, then how can I hurt you? See?
So true.
Yeah. So if that person doesn't have that, but we can keep that feeling, you know. I don't have that divisional, conflicted opinion of somebody because I know at the end of it we are all in one energy, and that kind of doesn't give me any of the things to hurt other people because I know they are mine. I told so many people there are no others, only one. you know uh, See, our Indian greeting namaste, I talked about this in so many rooms. What does it mean? It means you have divinity, I have divinity within us, and that divinity is only one, present in all of us. So once I do namaste, that means I have recognized that, and I have bringing that fact into my life, right? How many people
Wonderful.
do mechanical namaste without really meaning it, understanding it?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is amazing. We do it mechanically, but I believe not.
yeah,
Many will be even knowing what they are doing.
yeah.
They
They don't know.
say that as
Yeah,
a habit.
yeah.
Yeah, this is.
This is the wisdom I bring it from the ancients. It's not a mechanical
Yeah,
thing for me. It is what I live every day. I don't need anybody's approval or anything because it's a fact, right? And then
yeah,
I encounter a lot of people with that kind of divisional feelings. It could be racist, it could be economical, it could be hierarchical, authoritative. The administrators I deal with, they feel like they are running our life. Not really. They're not running anybody's life. So sometimes they get offended because we are not paying them extra attention and all. I will just do according to situation, not according to what I want out of the transaction, because I am psychologically secure in the understanding that we are all one.
yeah. That's a great approach.
Yeah,
Yeah, that also creates a brotherlyhood feeling.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Sistership among
yeah. This is
people
what happens with these burnout doctors and other people. Yeah, when I deal with them, they mostly don't bring out the power that they have within, not in the power of occupying somebody else, but dealing with the life's challenges and understanding our capacity and being very, very strong in adversity, in negative situations, and all that. You know. So this burnout is a big deal, and I'm trying to
Speaking about that,
what?
speaking about that, we are in a what we call in a secluded spots many times,
Yeah,
work-wise or even personally.
yeah,
We don't discuss several things, and I feel like many would do that repeatedly or decades and decades in their life. So would that enhance this kind of burnout situations
oh yeah,
in the personal life and also
yeah,
in the professional life?
yeah. That's why you see what is happening now is this stimuli for the knowledge is very varied and so many come at us. It was not like this in the olden times, right? They were not stimulated like this. Now, somebody wakes up in the morning and he gets into the stream of thought, and then he goes on strengthening that. And in the night, also, he doesn't shut it off deliberately. He sleeps again in the morning, again start. So, this is really getting into a neurotic state for many kids, many adults, and all that too. So, what I recommend is look at that, see the dangers of that, use the information for what you need, then deliberately relax your mind. Take some time off doing other things that are good for you in life. Music, go out and walk in the garden, do some physical work, exercise, laugh, or sing. You know, all these simple things you can do. But then this has become more like a more digital, and then they want to enhance that all the time. Now I'm very happy this yeah, artificial intelligence is bringing programs that we can do all these jobs very quickly so that we can have to, but what you are going to do with the time left is important. Don't spend the time in something else like a cinema or say digital picture and all that. Have the natural habits. Okay, go and spend time with the nature, be involved with the nature, and be natural. Do your stuff with your body and mind and everything naturally, as natural as possible. And that is considered like a not pleasant or not really giving a lot of pleasure and all that. That's unfortunate, but actually it restores our health and the planet health too. You know.
Yeah, that's a great thought, Doctor.
Yeah.
Oh, perhaps we should do one one talk on digital burnout as well.
I did this on the title, Prasad. Yeah, I did this on the title, Return to the Nature. We can do the same again.
Wonderful.
Yeah. See, I told some of my doctors who I'm advising, take a flower.
Very interesting. And
yeah, take a flower and put it next to the computer, and every time you see the flower, you remember all this discussion that you had with me. You know, so yeah, like these people, IT people come and say, my mind is going all over. I'm staring at 3, 4 screens all day. So I'm not having it. Then I told her, just shut off all that and go and lie down under the tree or walk around the tree or hug a tree, something like that, whoever appears, whatever they can do. But the main thing is, take everything away from that and go on a walk with on the river or on the on the road. Ashish, welcome. He's here too. So.
Hello, doctor.
Hi.
Hi. Hello, Prasad. Sorry, Prasad. No problem. Thank you for joining us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were discussing about some burnouts and all. We covered a lot of ground today, and I learned a lot from Dr. Rao today. Even though I think that I know a few things, but I know nothing. That's been proven already by Dr. Rao. It's not like that he said to me. I realized myself, how ignorant I am in managing certain burnout situations, even up to digital burnout kind of thing. So. I know you would love to say a few things or ask a few things, Dr. Rao. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so I walk 10,000 steps every day, and I finish for today as well.
Good.
And so that is outside today, not inside.
Yeah.
So that was something nice. It really helps me. And speaking of the burnout, are we thinking in terms of the knowledge and understanding that we need to read versus become whatever out there to consume actually? So the burnout is because we don't have sense or idea of what is required for today.
Yeah.
It's like the food, right? So we know how much food we require.
Yeah.
We don't overeat.
Respond to your hunger, Ashish.
Digital material.
Yeah.
Digital material or the physical material in the world. Same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Respond to your physiological need, and know the body and eat according to the hunger cycle, you'll be better off. Anyway, this whole talk is almost coming to an end. We were talking about more than an hour now. This is not recorded on this house. I don't know how they do that. But then in my room, it would have been automatically recorded. But I did YouTube and LinkedIn also there, and Wisdom also. This is recorded on the YouTube. Go to my channel, Rao Kolsu, if you are interested, and take a look at that. Okay.
I think house are not recorded.
No, yeah, they're not recorded, but then the clubhouse is on the house, but then other channels are recorded automatically.
Clubhouse you can record easily.
Yeah.
House is a new feature, and they're recording.
No, they told me they will be recording only for the house members. They won't allow you to record it for outside use. My regular room under my BFL room, that is automatically recorded. But today I'm doing it. Saturday we are required to 7 to 8. That I promised them I will do that. That's why I'm doing it. But these other channels are recorded. If anybody wants to, there are people who look for the recording. That's why I'm telling for their sake. Also, if they want to listen and then talk to me later, you can go to YouTube, you can go to LinkedIn, or you can go to Wisdom. Any of these channels, Facebook, Twitter also is there, the direct stream. So Anyway, Prasad, nice having you here. Thanks for being here all time. And then I'd like to have a dialogue rather than just talk. I think you helped that quite a bit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is because I'm also grasping
Yeah.
all these things. I brought in my curiosity as well. It's like
Oh, yeah.
good learning for me tonight.
Yeah.
And thank you for your time and giving me all these insights
Yeah.
as I am learning and try to be a good human.
Yeah.
Thank you for all that.
Yeah, Ashish, if you have anything that you would like to discuss, that's fine. Otherwise, we will close the room.
Yeah, doctor. Yeah, I don't have anything.
Okay. All right, then.
As I say, I'm trying to learn what I need to understanding today.
Yeah.
That's what.
Now go and see my YouTube channel is Ravu Kolusu, my own name, right? And then you
Okay,
can
sure.
you can see that there. Okay. Thank you, Ashish, for coming.
Thank you,
And thank you, everybody, on the Wisdom and other channels. And I'll be seeing you again next Saturday at the same time with this house. Otherwise, during the day, I will come whenever I can, whenever I have the time and I'm allowed to come in there. Thank you very much. Okay. Prasad, I'll see you there. Okay.
Sure, sir.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Sure, sir. See you later.
Bye.
Bye bye.